Hey there, guys. We're going to be going to Rafflesia with the new bracer that Tulian got from the story and doing an all mission clear on hard mode. Now, just to show off a little bit, we're going to try to do it in 4 turns or less. Now, here's the party we're going to use, and let's see if we can get it done. So this is not really recommended as a guide, as it does rely on a little bit of luck. Okay, so Tulian is going to do Jord Kicks. That's his new 160 Imperil. Tsukiko, Omamori, Prayer of Protection, and Mandala. Now the boss is at 10% effective resistance. We're going to do Eastern on Chizuru with Spirit and Mind. Olive is going to do just some breaks. So break, 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 and focus. And then Sylvie is going to do her Earth Amplify as Magnus, as well as Defense and Offense, and then Earth Amp. So if the boss does Death on turn 1, we lose. It's only a 10% chance though. Magic buff or status effects are totally fine for this party. So we've got Activation. That's the magic buff. That's not a problem at all. So Sylvie is going to do Not So Fast to get rid of the boss's magic buff. We're going to recast Blessing Earth so it casts again on turn 4. And then just Carrying to fix the mana drain. Tulian on this turn will do Charm Immunity, so in case we get charmed when we shift, it won't be a problem. We can just reload Olive. Chizuru can do Plant Pulverizer, and Tsukiko can do Magic Boost. So this turn, we have a 10% chance for the boss to use AoE Water Imperil. If that happens, we lose. If not, we're fine. So Vine Lash is not a problem. Okay, now we're going to do some bursts. This is why I said there's kind of a lot of RNG with this clear. We need to burst the boss as close as possible to 50 without going over, because we don't want the boss to heal. So, this turn, the boss only has an 85 defense break, so Chizuru is kind of nerfed heavily on this turn, so we should be fine. So let's go ahead and do our bursting and hope to get the boss close to 50 but not going over. 53 is fine. Okay, so Tulian this turn will do Rallying Cry to fill some LB gauge, and Sylvie will triple Clever to fill LB gauge. And once again, we have a 10% chance of the boss to do Death. If he does Death, we lose. No Death, we should be fine. So Hysteria is the AoE status effects. Those aren't really a problem. It does Disease Tsukiko, which is unfortunate, but whatever. So now we are going to have Tulian do Rallying Cry again, and Sylvie will double Clever and then do a big LB buff on Chizuru. And this should fill the LB of the party and give us ready to go again. Now the boss has an 89 defense break, and now Chizuru has a nice LB damage buff, so we're going to do a lot more damage this turn. But again, it does still rely on RNG, and this turn Olive doesn't have her SLB. So Olive is going to go first, then we're going to chain these guys, and this should hopefully be the end of the boss. There it is. All mission clear, turn 4, 5 units with this party. So again, a little bit of RNG. The boss is, we were fine no matter what the boss did. As long as it wasn't the 10% attack. Yeah, turn 1, it's a 60% chance of status effects, we're wearing immunity. It's a 30% chance of a magic buff, we don't care. But it's a 10% chance of death. If the boss had done death, it would have been game over. And then on turn 2, same thing, it's a 10% chance of an AoE Imperil plus AoE water damage. That would have killed us, but it's only a 10% chance. The rest of the stuff is irrelevant. Same thing on turn 3. 10% chance of death, otherwise irrelevant, and the boss didn't do death. So here's the damage breakdown. Chizuru was kind of geared, because Chizuru I could gear to do lower burst in phase 1 and higher burst in phase 2. That way we skip the entire healing phase. So she had, she got focused on the big stuff, etc. So here's the breakdown. Olive and Tsukiko are pretty similar. And there it is. I'll show you the gear in 1 second. So that was our all-mission Rafflesia clear. A little bit of RNG, and again, it does rely on a little bit of variance, etc. I don't recommend you trying to do that on your own, unless you really want to, by all means. But just, I have to warn you, It does take a try or two. It took me about 4 tries to get this video to work properly. Because sometimes the boss would use death, sometimes we'd burst too hard in phase 1, we'd push him into phase 2, he would start healing, that ruins it. But yeah, anyway, when it works nicely. So here's the team we used. Base form of Sylvie, using Treasured Ring for the turn 1 status immunity. Other than that, just some auto buffing, Saintly Castle, Vermilion Flag, Wisdom of Hest. But the shift form is where we stayed. 400 or better water resist, because she does get the 300 in peril on turn 1 or turn 2, one of them. Anyway, so 400 or better unbuffed water resist. Other than that, passive provoke, immune to the critical statuses. For example, sleep, paralyzed, etc. Those have to be immune. And then there we go. She's naturally charm immune. And then we gave her guts just in case. I don't think she ever needs guts, but whatever, just in case. And then passive provoke, and then her sword for removing the magic buff if the boss did the magic buff on turn 1. Tulian is using Lion's Emblem, so we can refill LB gauge. His new bracer or pants or whatever, I don't know what this is, the Vidar. It gives him the 160 in peril and then an 89 defense break on turn 4. It is a delayed defense break. I gave him guts as well as charm immunity and status immunity. Other than that, some mana on a mana card, etc. And he just does basically support stuff. He's on Lakshmi to buff charm immunity for turn 2, because when we shift the units, we need them still immune to charm on turn 3. Tsukiko in the base form, just some auto buffing and magic boost. Other than that, really nothing relevant. And then shift form, her own card, pure damage. And then here we go. I should have given her Creel's hat instead of Ark's hat, but whatever. And then I gave her a Chocobo accessory for death immunity or guts just in case. I don't think that's ever needed, but whatever. And yeah, I should have given her Creel's hat. That way she doesn't get diseased, and that would have actually been a lot better. But I didn't think of it. But she was diseased, and it was fine. Beach Blaster Olive is wearing guts, status immunity with Creel's Scrunchy. Other than that, LB damage versus plants. There we go, and then max that, max plant. Now, on turn 1, if the boss does charm, she is the only person not immune to charm on turn 1. It's only a 20% chance to actually apply charm. So charm will usually fail, but sometimes Olive will get charmed on turn 1. If that happens, game over, try again. Chizuru in the base form, Decay Amulet and Seraph Staff. Other than that, some auto buffing. That way she doesn't get diseased on turn 3. Other than that, just, charm immunity with first-rate Treasure Hunter. And then shift form, LB damage versus plants. And she has all the best gear, the ruler's gear, etc. Because she gets, I want her to burst low in phase 1, high in phase 2. And it's really nice because phase 1, we only have an 85 defense break. And then the 89 defense break automatically applies on turn 4, which allows us to completely skip that healing phase, which makes it really convenient. So there's the gear, maxed, and there it is. There's the all-mission 4-turn clear on Rafflesia with the new bracer from Tulian. Okay, see you in a bit.